What up, everybody? It's the Rottweiler Patriots. I'm Vegas.
And I'm T-Bone.
And we're coming at you with another video today where we're going to discuss our thoughts on what the Carolina Panthers have done so far in free agency. And T-Bone, I'm going to go ahead and pass this one over to you since the Carolina Panthers is, of course, your team.
Thank you so much, Vegas. Um, so I had a little bit in the beginning. I had a couple of mixed feelings because we did let a couple of key defensive pieces walk. Obviously, you got Chin, Luvu, Burns, Bell. I mean, not Bell. We didn't let Bell walk. We released Bell, but I mean, I didn't know why we released him. But ultimately, uh, as further into free agency has gone so far, I am starting to warm to these ideas more and more. I think I had blamed Dan Morgan a little bit to begin with, but then I kind of just cut that out because it's Scott Fitterer's mess. Dan Morgan's getting us out of it. And it's going to be uncomfy. It's going to be uncomfy. We're in a mess. If it's not uncomfy to get out of the mess, we're not really in a mess, then are we? Our goal was to get some nice cap, nice wide open, and freaking just work with what we could. And so our first idea, get some big boys. But before we get to that, let's kind of just go through the departures. Hayden Hurst, we released. Giovanni Ricci as a free agent. Bradley Bozeman, we released. David Sharp, free agent. Hugh Gross-Matos, free agent. Brian Burns, franchise tag to trade. Frankie Luvu, free agent. Jeremy Chin, free agent. Von Bell, re-released. Some of the stuff was to clear cap because some of these guys just wanted too much, and then some, they just wanted to walk, and I can't blame them, So, and then unsigned free agents that we still, could work with on the market. Got a couple of wide receivers, linemen, ends, and tackles. I would like to get back Cameron Gruger-Hill, but maybe give him elevating him into a more of a starter position, but who knows. Our cornerbacks have been lackluster, so we may re-sign one, but they've been kind of lackluster. Definitely think we're going to go after some guys in the draft or free agency as it continues. Sam Franklin, I would like to resign. Just continuing, so because we still do have a lot of unsigned free agents, and we're not nearly done with free agency yet. So I would like Sam Franklin to come back because I think he's a solid depth piece and a very knowledgeable safety. So, really, I mean, not much to it. Obviously, you can tell that we've lost a couple of defensive pieces. Not really offensive. Sorry to see Hayden Hurst go, but just didn't work out. But sorry to see some of these guys go. But it's for the good of the cap, for the good of the team, and it's good that none of them left with ill will. No one here is mad at the Carolina Panthers. Everyone has just gone their separate ways, which I think is good. Vegas, what are you thinking?
Well, I mean, a big reason why so many defensive guys are gone, even though the defense was the strongest of the ball for you, was just because so many of them hit free agency this year. One of the big issues for you all is that a lot of your offensive players were just newer. Their contracts didn't end this year. I mean, Hayden Hurst, you signed him last year. You had to release him, and that's gonna incur a pretty big dead cap hit. But you gotta move on. Bradley Bozeman released. Again, a lot of the offensive guys who've gone are releases. So that's just the reality of the situation of what you had to do. The only player you released on the defense was Von Bell, and I mean, that's understandable. And, I mean, the big blockbuster here, though, Brian Burns traded to the Giants. We, of course, in our Armchair GM video, kept Brian Burns, but I completely understand this move for the Carolina Panthers for a couple of reasons. One, it more than doubled your cap space, got you up to $30 million, which is definitely more room to work with. And two, Burns wanted more money than I think he's worth. What the Giants are paying him is more than he should be paid, in my opinion. And that doesn't mean he doesn't deserve a payday, but he's getting paid, you know, TJ Watt money pretty much. And he, as good as Burns is, he's not that good.
Let me
So,
actually interject in there. He is between, I believe it's Nick Bosa and TJ Watt on the price. I believe it's 30 million and some change. He is sandwiched between a few depoys. That's depoy money. He hasn't gotten a defensive player of the year.
no.
So so I mean just he, like you said, deserves a payday. We can't provide that.
Yeah, I
And it's a
mean,
little bit too much, you know?
exactly, it's like, as much as you like Brian Burns, if he wants that much money, that's just not realistic. It's just like us with Calvin Ridley, even though we were willing to bite more off than we should have for Calvin Ridley. It's like, it's just not as good as a player as you might be. It's just not worth that kind of money. You know? You look at the guys who are currently unsigned. You wide receivers DJ Chark, Laviska Chenault. DJ Chark is a guy who I think should lead the Carolina Panthers. I think it would be a detriment to the team if you re-signed him. Um, you know, only 4 offensive guys here. Again, mostly defensive guys who were free agents, and like, you see that here. Why it's so hard to rebuild this team, given that the offense was the difficulty with the team last year. Chark and Laviska should no longer here. I'm perfectly fine if neither of those guys return to this team. I think you're probably fine without them. You, of course, look at, Camu Gruger Hill. He's a guy who I would like back on this team. Him and probably Sam Franklin are the two guys, like you mentioned before, who I think would be good coming back to the Carolina Panthers. The rest of these guys, I mean, you can make an argument for a couple of them, but I'm perfectly fine if none of them come back to Carolina.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with what you said, man. I really would. I mean, I don't want to hyper focus on him, but Sam Franklin, he's the safety that got the franchise record for longest pick six in a Panthers game. So, I mean, obviously, don't focus, don't put all your eggs in one basket on one highlight. But I mean, if you look at him, he's a really good depth player and can really help us out. So I think getting another solid safety with him would be really good for us. But yeah, that's about it on. Yeah, I mean, I agree with what you said, man. I really would. I mean, I don't want to hyper focus on him, but Sam Franklin, he's the safety that got the franchise record for longest pick six in a Panthers game. So, I mean, obviously, don't focus, don't put all your eggs in one basket on one highlight. But I mean, if you look at him, he's a really good depth player and can really help us out. So I think getting another solid safety with him would be really good for us. And now we're gonna move over to re-signings and signings. So re-signings. Let's look at those first. We were able to get running back Raheem Blackshear. He's been here for a little bit. He's been here since 2023. So you know, he's been here since the Sam Darnold days, and just he's kind of a gadgety player too, kind of a relief back. So also returner. So just solid stuff, and he's really invested in the culture. Same with Amir Smith Marset, gadgety player. Rushing, returning, receiving. He does it all. So it's kind of like a younger, more healthy Laviska. Steven Sullivan, kind of a backup tight end. He did a couple of plays while Hayden Hurst was out, so nice relief for Tommy Trumbull. LeBrian Ray, more depth. Nick Thurman, same with that. Troy Hill, solid corner. I think him and J.C. Horn could really get something going if they remain healthy. JJ Jansen, long snapper, got him for another year. Still holding on to the amount of Panthers, most continual games played as a Panther. So he's that veteran guy that, you know, not much, it's not crazy. Oh God, look at this long snapper, but he's just there. He's just kind of a special teamer that's a veteran that's really here and knows the Carolina culture. So I mean, God, he's been there since Jake Delhomme. He's played with some of the greats. So, I mean, seriously, Cam Newton, Jake Delhomme, Steve Smith, Jay Stu, D'Angelo Williams, all of them. So, um, I think you know, I don't, though he's a long snapper, I think it's very important to keep him on just as kind of a veteran presence guy. And then obviously Shaq Thompson. You guys remember last season? I was worried. He got injured a couple weeks in and was out for the season. And I thought he'd go somewhere. I thought he was done, but instead he decides to restructure his contract, take a pay cut, and stay with the Panthers. And I think Shaq Thompson is what it means to be a Panther. I think he's really an underrated piece. Obviously, he's not really flashy. He's not gaining all these Pro Bowls and stuff, but he's doing what he needs to do. And he's also got some of that culture in there. I mean, God, he was on the 2015 Panthers, so kind of also a veteran presence guy. Moving to signings, as you can see, we really worked with offensive line. We got a lot of tackles got a line. We paid a lot for them. We need to protect Bryce. That's what Dan Morgan wants. Protect Bryce. That's the start of a good franchise. Solid quarterback, solid line. The rest comes after. You protect your quarterback, the rest follows. And I like that. And that's what it is. We're getting our crap together because Fitterer put us in a crap hole. We're getting our stuff together. The defensive guys. Um, Really, the thing to be said about them, I believe most of these guys, if not all of them, played for Evero, the DC. So I think we really the guys that we were able to pick up, we wanted to make sure that Evero got Evero okayed us, and it's guys he's worked with that feel comfortable in his scheme and his system, and could really bring some success here. So, when it came to defensive guys, we didn't just try and fill the roster spot. We looked for who can really feel comfortable and work with this system. And obviously the big one, Deontay Johnson. We traded Dante Jackson to the Steelers, 6th rounder, and we got a 7th in return to Deontay Johnson. I love this. I think that some people that maybe not are, maybe aren't in with either Steelers or Panthers might just, blow this off. I believe we absolutely won this trade. Dante Jackson got smoked every single play. And Deontay Johnson, well, he's not getting a lot of looks. That's because, no offense, the Steelers are kind of divas. You had Najee, Jalen Warren, you had, George Pickens. So, obviously it's been a while since Deontay's really been the number one guy. So, but he is going to be a great relief for Adam Thielen, and it would really be a nice 1A, 1B guy. So I love that pickup. Really, I mean, not much else to say, As you can tell, we really broke the bank on the offensive linemen. That's what we got to do. We are working to keep Bryce protected, and then moving after that, getting defensive guys who have worked with Evero before and have had success with him before, and have thrived under him, and from there, success with the team. So that's about it for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think y'all have done a really, really good job on this side of ring. First, with resignings, I really like bringing back Raheem Blackshear and Amir Smith Marset. I mean, those were two players who a lot of guys want to back in for good reason. Brought them both back. Steve Sullivan, I think, solid depth piece. I think he'll be decent in the run blocking game. You know, Shaq Thompson, love that move right there. Troy Hill and J.J. Jansen as well. So, a lot to like on that side of things. And then you look over at signed, Robert Hunt, Damian Lewis. Y'all spent big and for good reason. A big issue last year was offensive line play, and it's a big reason why you struggled so much, a big reason why Bryce Young struggled so much. So even though, you know, you spent a lot of money on this, and I understand why fans might complain about spending this much money, it's what you gotta do if you want Bryce to become the quarterback that he can. You can't, you can't let him be getting killed back there. And then, of course, you have to have people to throw to. You bring in Deontay Johnson, who I personally am not the biggest fan of, but regardless of that, y'all still won this trade. For what you gave up to get him is effectively nothing. You gave up a terrible player and then a late-round pick swap for Deontay Johnson. Even though I'm not huge on him, that still is a win of a trade for you all, and he immediately becomes your best wide receiver by virtue of your wide receiver core not being that great. But, regardless of that, y'all have made some great moves. I mean, guy who I think is going to be really underrated, this is a big signing for y'all, Josie Jewell. I think that was one of the best moves y'all made in free agency. I also am a big fan of the Kaylavon Chiasson, however the heck you pronounce that. I'm a big fan of that signing as well as Jordan Fuller. So, I think that y'all have done an excellent job here, and I mean, y'all aren't headed to the playoffs anytime soon, but if y'all have a good draft, y'all could be gearing up for an almost 500 season, quite frankly. In my mind, that's a win for you all, especially after everything that happened last year. If y'all win 7-8 games, I think that's huge. It's a huge step for y'all. I mean, you look at the Detroit Lions, they won, 3 games 2 years ago? And now look at them. Came that close to making the Super Bowl, So, it takes time to rebuild a team, and I think so far, y'all have taken some really good first steps. T-Bone, got any final thoughts before we wrap this thing up?
No, sir.
Alrighty then, please be sure to leave your thoughts down in the comments below. We would love to hear what you all have to say. And that is going to do it for us today. Thank you all so very much for watching. Please be sure to hit the like button. Please be sure to subscribe. And we will see you all in the next video.